there's been proposal for me to sit down with Donald Trump. Uh, he one of them because I want to free Larry Hoover, and I believe he'll do it. So I text Kanye. I text Kanye a few weeks ago, and I said, homie, we can get Larry Hoover out of lockup. I think Trump will do it. And so that's my goal. Before he die, homie, some kind of way to try to get Larry Hoover in population.
Why you like Larry Hoover?
Because Larry Hoover chained gangsters and disciples to growth and development. So I really should, homie, I joined Crip and Bloods. So GDs and BDs never really made it to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So they're not big in Texas. But there was some. And I remember I stole them niggas' literature. And nigga, that literature helped me evolve from wanting to be gangster to growth and development, evolving. Yeah. Man, that nigga had, wisdom, knowledge. So when nigga Larry Hoover changed the whole mindset of gangsters, homie, and I just happened to be a kid who got to pick it up off the ground. And nigga, it transformed the spirit of the kid. Because all I knew was gang, 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 gang. And I really didn't even know that. I'm just picking this shit up in the boys' home. I come from a good home. So I ain't know nothing about gang gang. So from 14 to 16, I'm gang gang based on the Crip knowledge. And the Crip ain't got no knowledge. But nigga, when I was like 17 years old and I got a hold of that literature, that's what made me quit gang banging.
So everybody's talking about Larry Hoover. And Larry Hoover, for the young guys that may not know who he is, he was one of the founders of the GDs, the Gangster Disciples. When you hear a lot of the young guys say on Barksdale, on David, David was the OG that died in '74. He was running the show, and when he died, Hoover took over. Hoover took over as the chairman of the board, and he was running the show. But he was locked up for a homicide with a guy named William Pookie in 1973, and they gave him 200 years. They gave this guy 200 years for they saying killing William Pookie Young, 19-year-old drug dealer out of Chicago, right? And, at that time it was political because there was a lot of political things going on. And they basically just got this guy off the street. He was 23 years old. 23 years old. Then he ended up getting indicted in 1995 by the feds from prison. And they gave him like another 6 life sentences and a whole bunch of different time. Well, that just got commuted by President Trump. So now he has to go back down to the state where he's been in jail under those state charges since 1973. So he should be about to get out because he had no business getting 200 years for that. They did that because of all the gang crime. You got to understand, when you go back to the murder rate in Chicago in 1973, 74, the murder rate was at an all-time high at that time, of gang violence. And I'll break all that down later on in the video. But, everybody's talking about this all over the country right now. So his son, went and he's responding to this now. And he got on social media and he said this.
What's going on?
We don't do this live stuff often. Y'all tell Mama and Larry congratulations.
Oh. Hey, I know we're not supposed to get to this, but I want to tell all these people I feel sorry for you guys. This gang banging while we talking about a man's life. This is a grown man, a senior citizen. It's not no kids in here. And if you can't move past that point in life where you still gang banging, you may possibly die in the streets or go to jail, young man. I love everybody.
Yeah, I just saw that pop up too. Shit,
yeah, hey, I got family that's GDs, BDs, Vice Lord, Stone, all that. It's all love around here. So say that for another platform.
Or we could just block them and keep going.
Yeah, we can keep going. I just want them to know how I feel about it. They wasting their time.
So you guys, we jumped on here because we wanted to talk to you guys about something super important, right? And we thought this was probably the easiest way to do it. But right now, so you guys understand, because I think there's a lot of confusion and Larry's going to clear it. Hi, Sam. We're going to clear this up real quick. So how this works, Larry, explain to them how Trump has freed him from the feds, but what's going on with the state.
Okay. Trump has freed my father from federal custody. But as I told people plenty times before, it's been a dual jurisdiction. So now the state has the opportunity to go get him. And what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to reach out to Governor Pritzker to let him know that my father would be a blessing to this city, and he could also leave the city if he needs him to leave. But we dealing with Priska, and he can go into state custody, and all he has to do is strike his pen and say that we don't need this geriatric old man. He served his time. Like he's not worried about leading any type of gang organization or running the streets. If he does anything for the streets, it would be telling the YNs that you're gonna live the life that he lived if you don't change your life. He would be an asset and a blessing to this community. All the people that stuck on some other stuff, like your understanding is just kind of weak. Your understanding of life, your understanding of manhood, your understanding of being a woman. We not with that. We're all about peace and love. And we need Priska to understand that he will be a blessing to this community, and we want him to give this man a second chance. Priska believes in redemption and believe that he should be redeemed. Everybody else in this situation has been able to have redemption and have a second chance in life. And I would love to actually be able to hold my father. I'm close, but I'm not all the way there yet. I know it don't sound right, but I want to hug and kiss a man. My kids want to hug and kiss their grandfather. My mother wants to hug and kiss her husband. Like, it's a whole family out here. This is a man in a man's life. This has nothing to do with any nonsense. We need for everybody to let Priska know that Larry Hoover will be a blessing to this community, an asset, no type of threats. If anything, it may be even more peaceful.
Hold on.
So, there's a lot of people saying that Donald Trump could have commuted a lot of other people's sentences. And, this just, when it comes to black people, a lot of our people can never be happy on multiple levels. It's just that a lot of times, man, we just incapable of being happy, man. I'm happy to see that they commuted this sentence of this young man. He was 23 years old. Think back to when we were 23 years old, a lot of things that we did or was involved in, and he's been in jail since 1973. 1973. And, he had a lot of power because in the 90s, they started to sway the vote. He had Gator Bradley and so many other people dealing with politics in the black communities over there in Chicago. And they were showing their numbers and power of black people, unifying black people to the vote, to the polls. And they got him out of there and put him in solitary confinement for 30 years. They got him going. He had to go. So a lot of these guys that started off with bad, they know that they had a potential of good because they had a lot of power. It's funny how when it comes to us in our revolution, we got to pray, got to go through the church. But a lot of these guys to get things moving, because when you look at W folks, right? They look at their history in this country and what they did. How come they was able to redevelop themselves and all of a sudden they looked at as pristine and perfect? They get to be the judges, your lawyers, your doctors, your everything, right? And they have a history of murder, right? But when it comes to our people, we can't redeem ourselves. We do something wrong, oh, it's just for life, right? But you won't have a problem with going to acquiesce to the system and what they done. Look at their history. So why can't Larry Hoover Sr. redeem himself and come out and help save souls and lives, right? He changed it to growth and development. So I'm rooting for him. I want him to get out. I want a lot of brothers to get out across the country, not just in Chicago, not just Larry. There's a lot of brothers that was doing wrong in a period of time that's been in jail for the last 30, 40 years that should be out. They're older men now. That should be out. They should be out here right now helping, guiding, and teaching these young men across the country. There's a lot of brothers that this country just threw away the key as if they don't have the history that they have. So no, I'm not going for this. So man, prayers up for Larry Hoover, man. I hope that he gets, the governor now, the state commutes his sentence as well and allows him to get out. And as more of this come out, we'll report more of this. If you made it this far, leave your comments in the comment section. Hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV. And remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.
Larry Hoover is currently at the notorious Supermax prison in Colorado. His family hasn't been able to speak with him today to get his reaction to his commutation. Hoover still faces the remainder of a state prison sentence for murder, but his family is hoping for clemency from Governor Pritzker.
It's overwhelming. It's a long time coming, and we just want to hope it go all the way through.
The wife and son of Larry Hoover, after his 6 federal life sentences, were commuted by President Trump.
And he deserves redemption. He deserves a second chance at being a part of this community. And he could be a benefit to this community if they want him to be a benefit to this community.
Hoover co-founded the Chicago Gangster Disciples, and while behind bars for a 1973 murder, federal prosecutors say he continued to run the gang's prolific multi-state drug operations.
If Larry Hoover said there was going to be a killing, there was a killing.
Ron Safer was the lead federal prosecutor who secured Hoover's 1997 conviction for running a criminal enterprise behind bars.
I believe in redemption, but there are some crimes that are so horrific that they deserve the punishment to the full extent of the law.
As years passed, Hoover's case drew increasing attention, including from artists like Kanye West and Chance the Rapper.
And I gotta remind y'all that he was a political prisoner.
He is being held because he is a symbol, not because he needs further incarceration or he hasn't been rehabilitated.
The president's commutation only applies to Hoover's federal sentence. He still faces state prison time for which he's eligible for parole. Governor J.B. Pritzker can also offer clemency.
We know that Governor Pritzker believes in rehabilitation, redemption, and transformation, and he's done all of that.
A governor spokesperson declined to comment on Hoover's case, but said inmates seeking parole or clemency must petition the Illinois Prisoner Review Board, which makes parole decisions and issues recommendations to the governor regarding clemency.